All right, I'd like to start another one of these debates or conversations. I believe they are structured conversations. I'll talk about that more over in the debate on the debate, which is sort of a test case because it's sort of self-referential. We're talking about how to do the thing we're doing while we do it. So I think that's an interesting little test case. It's liberating to there's no way to be too strict in it. But here's how this is going to work when I have more strict debates, and we'll be creating the software to help this methodology. Uh, the first rounds are a kind of a brainstorming session where we try to sketch out the domain. We create a map between us. Hey, there's this area. A lot of us will have thought of the same area, and that'll be a detailed part of the map. Some areas only some people will have thought about, and those will be more sketchy, or even if they're very detailed, it will be one person's work. All right. And then in the subsequent rounds, we identify and circle these areas where there's overlap in detail, and where there's conflicting detail. People have detailed the same area differently. Okay. So this question I decided to title Animal Rights. It's really an inquiry regarding animal cognition, and actually even more general than that, the cognition of living creatures. But I think the subject of animal rights is the most material of aspects of this whole conversation and related set of conversations. So again, this is round one, so I'm presenting a set of conversations, possible conversations, of things related to animal rights, some of which might not be um, strictly questions of animal rights, like maybe it's the rights of some other living thing, like plants. All right, so we're going old school here a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and rank things just wantonly. Now, people might uh, object, relativists, for example, that I would create a rank of cognitions, and which I'm going to put humans at the top in the first rank. But if you look, okay, look down there, right, down there. There's a criteria of rank. You could use a different criteria, and I'm just going to use a very loose one of similarity to human cognition. Right, aspects we might recognize. A mammal has a visual memory probably at some point, dreaming or whatever, and sees something as a visual memory. We could understand that mammal, that mouse or whatever, might not be able to understand a lot of our emotions and cognitive experiences because maybe they're too complex. But we share some like that, like the simple memory of a smell or something. Yet they might have a more vivid version. And then again, that's why, how could you rank this? Well, ranking it starting with humans, because the title is Animal Rights, and we're talking about human rights um, as a starting point. The rights humans get, how many of those would other living things get based on their similarity to humans and based on the justification for the given right. All right. I should say too, I'm not going to talk about in this video, this will be for separate rounds, which specific rights animals should get. It's more a level at which they should get any rights or any of these other categories. So I've gone ahead and chosen 7 categories because 10 is an overused number. So and at the top we have humans, as I say. Now below that I put what we'll call smart mammals, because I think if we're using similarity to human cognition, there might be creatures that are mammals that live cognitively, less uh, similarly to humans than maybe some other, lower animal, like a smart insect or lizard. So we're going to say smart mammals, the rank 2. There's a debate, of course, of which would go in these ranks, even given this criteria, and even given the looseness of this criteria, I would tend to put other primates in rank 1, for example. But maybe they're in the smart mammals rank. This is just a structure for a conversation, including, and to provoke uh, uh, changes in the structure. Then I put smart birds because I think while they could be intelligent, the similarity of that kind of intelligence to humans is more distant than to humans than mammals. Then I have smart reptiles, and below there I have insects. I think insects really are like a whole uh, spectrum of cognition themselves, and with the hive aspect and all the weird symbiosis and stuff. But we're going to put them down there because we're not going again by intelligence. It could be an alien super intelligence, and it would come in these other ranks compared to humans. And why are we ranking them? Because we're going to be granting rights. So let's face it. There's the first rank gets all the rights, and below there you might start having a separate understanding of rights. Might. All right, then I have plants, and below there I have single-celled creatures. I think in plants I would include fungus, very sophisticated. Again, certain scales, these things could be ranked higher. Their cleverness of single-celled life forms to outsmart our immune system season after season is pretty well demonstrated. But we're talking the similarity of human cognition. Now, could a human have a similar idea as a single-celled creature? Well, I can imagine in the sense that we know what a rush of a hormone release feels like when it's an intense one, and this is basically how the single-celled creature lives. But it doesn't have nerve endings to sense it with, but metaphorically, we can get a little tiny hook on it, and yet it's pretty damn alien, so that's why it's rank 7. Now, these imply the ordering, as I said, because of the rights, but you can always have rank 7 be the highest and rank 1 be the lowest. But we are going to probably be granting things away from humans in the sense that humans have all of these categories. We grant that humans have emotions. We grant that humans do thinking. We grant that humans have rights, and we grant that humans deserve empathy. Okay, and this is where the ranking is going to do some service. So do smart mammals have emotions like dogs? A smart dog, does he have emotions? I think so. I think it's obvious that all the mammals are doing thinking, and I think that they have some rights as well, and deserve empathy. Going column by column, the emotions, I believe that we clearly have emotions in, oh wait, now I'm getting into my answer, so that's separate. So I meant to just go into, I didn't mean to go through it this way, but not my view. I think on terms of emotions, the common answer is that animals have emotions, and I think at birds and reptiles, people don't think so. Uh, Thinking creatures, people probably would say that birds are thinking or reptiles are thinking. Insects, people tend to believe are, you know, just automated. When a spider is cutting a leaf out of its web, most people want to say that it's thinking about doing that job and thinking about how to do it. But perhaps so. You can weigh in there. Object to my statement of the status quo. With rights, it's really down to the reptiles, pet animals. But if someone had a pet insect and they were cruel to it, I have never heard of an animal cruelty issue. You could have a tarantula and mistreat it, and I don't think there's any protection, and certainly not in plants or single-celled life forms. Now, what deserves empathy? A lot of people believe that in being empathetic to insects and do not want to kill insects, for example. A lot of people that love plants are empathetic to their plants, and for example, looking at a dying plant, sad. It's like looking at some other sort of a sick creature. Never seen too much empathy for single-celled life forms. All right. All right, I've decided I will quick upload these. It's not with street noise this time, but it may be necessary to do more complete editing in the long run. But as we're getting this thing figured out, I want to keep it low impact in that respect. All right, thank you for anybody that wants to reply on animal rights, and hopefully given some reference to this structure, but it is an open reply round, and the topic only has to be animal cognition, the cognition of living things, with some reference to the material consequence that the philosophy plays in terms of giving rights to other living things besides humans, granting them at least conceptual and abstract status of having certain kinds of fundamental similarities to us as fellow living creatures.